The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios.
Hi, this is Mia Mosinzia, also known as Mia No Time for Love. Check out my latest book, Missing, available on Amazon.
The Mike Wagner Show, also brought to you by The Sweet Psalmist by Serena Wagner, available on Amazon. Highlight the Book of David.
It's now time for the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, iTunes, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and the MikeWagnerShow.com. Mike brings you great guests and interesting people from all across the globe. So sit back, relax, and enjoy another great episode of the Mike Wagner Show.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios, brought to you by official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Mosinzia, Missing, available on Amazon and paperback and ebook, coming soon, Missing 2, Double Suspense, Double of Fun. Check it out on Amazon. Also brought to you by a sweet psalmist by Serena Wagner, based on the life of David, including theories, quiz of pains, and King David Psalms. Amazon.com, keyword Sweet Psalmist Serena Wagner, and check out the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com and on Linktree at the Mike Wagner Show. 50 podcast platforms, 110 countries, including Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, also Apple Music, BitChute, Rumble, and YouTube. Follow us on Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and TikTok today. We're here with two wonderful gentlemen, a Chicago prog rock band found during COVID-19 in 2020 by drummer-songwriter Derek Ferguson, and evolved from a home studio project into an internationally recognized prog outlet. We'll talk more about that. And they'll be in the UK from November 13th through 17th, playing UK's HRH Prog Fest, featuring Asia's John Payne, Focus, Life Signs, and more. And they have a loyal following on YouTube, Spotify, and all the channels. And we'll be featuring a couple of singles in just a minute. Live, ladies and gentlemen, the Plus Studios in beautiful downtown Chicago and Steubenville, Ohio. The multi-talented Chicago prog rock band with producer, engineer Ian Babout and Derek Ferguson, the founder and first drummer, and also the songwriter. The band is called Refestramus. Guys, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us, Mike.
Well, it's great to have you on board. But first of all, how did you come up with the name of Refestramus?
It's a word that my mom has used for years to mean to rearrange oneself after some sort of classic example I like to use is, you go through TSA security and, you have to put all your stuff in the basket and it goes through, and then you see all the folks, they've actually put benches out for folks to Refestramus themselves. So that's the meaning.
Oh, how do you like that? And I think that's great as well too. So Derek, you founded the band during COVID-19 in 2020. You're the drummer and songwriter of the group, and tell us how you first got started.
So I was in a bunch of different local progressive rock bands in the 1990s, and then like a lot of folks, life sort of, intervened, and, moved away from that and had a career and all that sort of stuff. Still do. But, COVID sort of provided an opportunity to step back and do a little bit of stuff that I never had time to do before, just because of, everybody got to be home for a little bit longer, whether we liked it or not. Right.
Right. Yeah.
And I had started listening to Ian's internet radio show. I guess it was probably back in about 2014, 2016, yep. Around there.
Wow.
And Ian can tell you more about that, but I was super fascinated to see that between when I was last in bands in the 90s and now, home studio recording just evolved by leaps and bounds. Mm-hmm. So it started off with me approaching Ian to have him mix and master some of my band's old tapes. And then after that, during COVID, I thought, oh, you know what, maybe I'll finish recording one of the songs that I never got to record back in the day. And then the bassist that Ian put me in touch with, Jerry King, who's been on a host of different groups that Ian can also tell you about, said, you should probably do an album. I thought, oh, all right, I'll do an album. But that's my side of it. Ian, you can fill in the gaps I missed.
Yeah, so you were in my chat rooms when I did Prog Rock Deep Cuts, my second, I guess, radio show. I'm now on my third, but back when I did my second radio show, and that would have been when I was on either prog-rock.com or House of Prog. And if I remember, you always had Henry Spencer from Eraserhead as Beaker from the Muppets. Wasn't that your?
It was Beaker. Yeah.
Yeah. It was just like all my cross-cultural references, pop cultural references were converging. And my show was a little bit odd. I was just as likely to play some sort of avant-garde jazz nonsense as I was to play some Beatles tune or a pop song. So I thought I was not necessarily the obvious choice, let's say, to produce Derek's music. But when he reached out to me, what appealed to me about it was that, I had been doing, again, in my production work, I had found this niche doing a lot of like avant-garde bands, working for Cuneiform record label, out of Washington, D.C., which I absolutely love. And I still work for them to this day. But what attracted me to the Refestramus music was the fact that it is hooky. It sounds like arena rock music from the 80s. And it reminds me of when bands like Asia emerged, where you had these great musicians who were playing.
Oh, I remember Asia. They were terrific. I loved them.
Yeah. And I was thinking, if I can do that really esoteric stuff on one hand, and then also show, that I have a passion and love for this more, we'll say, accessible stuff, that just makes me a richer producer and engineer. So I was happy to take on the challenge to show that I was capable of doing it. And after we made the first record, Derek, I think both of us expressed some disappointment with that first record, the one that's called Decoupage. And we kind of agreed that I should produce the following record. So starting with Interis, which was the second record, and now on to this new one, I took over as the producer.
Oh, okay. So you had Decoupage, Interis, and you also had, was it From the Sublime to the Ridiculous? Was that the third one?
That's an EP, I believe.
Oh, it is an EP. I was trying to clarify that. That's all.
Yeah. It's an EP. The upcoming record, which is coming out in June, is called Maury's Rock Boutique. But our first single is out from Maury's Rock Boutique, and it's called Hell or New York City. And I think we're going to be talking about that a little later in the program.
Yes, right. And we'll be certainly do that. And Ian, you've been a producer, engineer, and how'd you first get started?
Well, I went to college for it. Music technology as well as public relations. And so I was working in a studio as part of my senior project, and I produced 2 records my senior year, actually 3. But anyway, the one of them was particularly strange and interesting, and it was called Coloratura, and that's sort of what I chose to continue with after college. And following college, I built a studio at home.
Nice.
Called Shed Sounds. Out of an old shed that I, with the help of my uncle and some folks from the building company, we were able to outfit it with plumbing, electricity, and it was heat and water and all that stuff. And so it was like a little house. It was like a tiny home. But right after I built that is when the pandemic hit.
Oh,
so it's Yeah. So I had to rethink my whole strategy because I wanted to record people, And so somebody I knew from just the bars locally back when I lived in West Virginia said that he had a friend in Pittsburgh who is doing audio post-production. He doesn't do recording. He just does post-production. So I actually started out in post-production. Okay. And that's probably the area where I'm the most comfortable with. But I think I may have told Ferguson that, at one point we had 2 Dereks in the band, so I had to identify them by last name. But at one point I told Ferguson that it was always my dream to produce because I grew up being a fan of people like Alan Parsons, and later on, like more recent artists like Steven Wilson.
Uh-huh. And then how did you guys first meet exactly? So I was trying to get like 3 points in there. How did you exactly like first meet or make contact? Was it a chat room, the radio show, or being approached to music? The chat room?
Yeah, it was the chat room for my prog rock deep cuts radio program. And I guess Derek must have friend requested me on Facebook. And when the pandemic rolled around, I don't remember, did we communicate at all in between the radio show ending and you having the material, or was it you came forward with material and then, we developed 3 records out of it?
You know what it was? I had been carrying around for at least 20 years some of those big, thick analog studio tapes that my band in the 90s had made. And I think I reached out to you because you mentioned that you were doing a degree in building a studio and all that sort of stuff, just to say, what can I do with these tapes? Because I'm vaguely aware that magnetic tapes don't last forever, and I'd like to salvage this music. And I think you had said, if you find a studio that has the equipment to convert them to WAV files, then you could actually mix them and turn them into something I could hear and all that sort of stuff. And so then when I decided to try to record some new music during the pandemic at home, you were the natural choice. And all the musicians on the first album actually were sourced during the pandemic internationally using Fiverr, which is...
not to mention a lot of that you played yourself.
One of the things that we wanted to sort of improve upon on the following albums. I mean, I would rate myself on drums. The other stuff I should just stick to writing as opposed to playing. So with each album, we sort of improved up the quality of musicians on each album.
That is certainly fantastic. And Ian, you cover some of the influences that shaped yours, some of the favorites you grew up at. Derek, how about some your favorites that you grew up with?
It's interesting. I never really thought of myself as being a fan of specific producers, but in later years, I came to realize that so much of the music that I liked was produced by Bob Ezrin. Just so he was a huge influence on me. Obviously, we just lost Ace Frehley, so I'm thinking particularly about.
Oh, that was sad. That was sad.
Yeah, for someone of my age, he was a pivotal early influence. Kiss in general, and then later on, I got very into progressive rock, and in particular, you can see behind Ian B about the Jethro Tull mural.
That is so cool! I love it.
Yes, Jethro Tull, Alice Cooper, Kiss, yes, Genesis, Emerson, Lake and Palmer. But I think something Ian said earlier about the music having hooks. I love progressive rock. That's my genre, but I gotta have my hooks, music that sort of just, is very serious and dry and just too esoteric. Something that, Ian and I try to do with Refestramus is we always try to keep stuff grounded. And, Ian's a big fan of Frank Zappa, and obviously humor was an essential part of his whole ethos. So that's something you hear a lot in the Refestramus music.
Mm-hmm. And one band maybe think it was King Crimson. Seems to be the top of the prog rocks, King Crimson.
Yeah, I love King Crimson.
Yeah.
I don't know how you feel, because a lot of times, I thought I'd bring this up, like a lot of times I'm coming from a more experimental side of things, because that's usually where I live. And I think that a lot of what makes Refestramus special is that me coming in with what, maybe Derek would call esoteric influences, and him coming in with those hooks and more hard rock things.
Mm-hmm. Right. And certainly did as well, too. And we got some music as well, besides Hello New York City, Lakeview Samurai, and more about Maury's Rock Boutique. There's also some other music. We'll talk about that with Refestramus' Ian Bayabout, the producer, engineer, and Derek Ferguson. But first, listen to the Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com. It's powered by SoundCloud Studios. Visit online at soundclubstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. SoundCloud Studios is the answer. SoundCloud Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. It's 1-800-303-3960 or email to support@soundclubstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, time to give an official shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson-Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you'll love Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, 1 target, where truth is illusion and those who love be the first go missing. It's available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing by Mia Molson-Zia has garnered great reviews and even loved and enjoyed by Howard celebrities, including Joanna Cassidy, Forbes Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today for Girls Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon. Coming soon, Missing 2, Double the Suspense, Double the Fun. Check it out on Amazon. Also brought to you by the Sweet Psalmist by Serena Wagner, based the life of Dave, including 30 quiz of pains and King David Psalms. The Sweet Psalmist gives new perspective of Dave through Psalms he wrote as the time where Shepherd started and complicated turbulent relationship with King Saul. It's the story of love, betrayal, repentance, hope, and more. Check out The Sweet Psalmist by Serena Wagner on Amazon. Keyword, Sweet Psalmist, Serena Wagner. Also, check out The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com and a link tree at The Mike Wagner Show. 50 podcast platforms, 110 countries, including Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, plus Apple Music, BitChute, Rumble, YouTube, and more. Follow us on Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, TikTok. Take us with you on any mobile device. And for great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com. Check out The Mike Wagner Show podcast. T-shirts, pop sockets, throw pillows, tote bags, hoodies, makes great gifts 24/7. Go to Amazon.com. Check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast. And for more great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com/Mia Molson-Zia for great books, merchandise, and more. And support the Mike Wagner Show and Anchor FM, PayPal, and the MikeWagnerShow.com. We're here with amazing, multi-talented Derek Ferguson, the drummer and songwriter, and also Ian Bayabout, the producer and engineer of Refestramus' latest release, Morris's Rock Boutique on the Mike Wagner Show. Before we talk about more on that, you guys had did some singles with Zombie Love, Assumption, and also Emmeline. So tell us more about those.
Those are all from the last record, right? Those are all from Intereast?
I believe so. I mentioned Zombie Love, Assumption, if I got that right, and Emmeline.
Asuncion is kind of a nice lead into the new album, Maury's Rock Boutique. So one of my favorite places to visit vacation-wise, and actually I'm going there just a couple weeks before our appearance at HRH, is Asuncion in Paraguay, South America.
Oh, nice.
And during, I guess it was my second visit there, maybe my first visit, I was just saying, wow, this is really nice. I think it was like probably the middle of December in Chicago, and I was down there, and it was like 80 degrees and sunny out, and I'm thinking, this is really cool. So I'm walking down the street, and I just started humming this melody, and I hummed it into my phone so I wouldn't lose it. I'm thinking, oh, this is really, this is cool. And so that's sort of an homage to the city. And something very interesting happened with that song, which was after I put it together and did the usual PR send out for it, someone who works for Paraguayan National Radio contacted me and said, love rock music. We don't get a whole lot of rock songs written about Asuncion in Paraguay. Could we play this? And so I did, super honored to have it played on national radio. And after that, made contact with someone named Maury, who owns a rock boutique, actually a rock store. It's called Maury Rock Store.
Is it like rocks, or is it rock music? I never quite knew what exactly the rock was.
It's rock music. She's got all sorts of rock T-shirts and rock posters. And very cool place. And she made the first, and she remains our exclusive T-shirt manufacturer. So all of the Refestramus t-shirts that have ever been made have been made by her. And we have a little, following in Asuncion. So I have all these photos of people in Asuncion, Paraguay going around with Refestramus t-shirts. Thus the name of our new album, Maury's Rock Boutique.
How do you like that? And I think that's really cool as well, too. You also got The Devil Returns, Into a Suite, and you also got Deathless. Tell us about those.
Well, Deathless is a song which has not yet come out.
When is that? When's that going to be released?
Probably, so it's a, 9-minute song, 11 minutes song?
Oh, yeah, it's 10 minutes long, but you got to play the whole enchilada.
You got to play the whole enchilada. So, being 10 minutes long, it itself probably won't be a single, although we took 2.5 minutes out of it, a section that is called Goodbye America, where that's actually coming out as a single. We thought it would be fairly timely with all the political stuff that's going on. But the whole concept behind Deathless is there's a character in Russian folklore. So a lot of stuff in Refestramus sort of goes back to Slavic mythology, and we have a lot of Slavic musical influences. And in this case, there's a character, Koshchei Besmertny is his Russian name, which is Koshchei the Deathless. And it's kind of positing the idea that bad stuff happening in the world, and in the U.S. in particular, it's almost as if this character who exists to do nothing other than cause trouble has somehow or another managed to grab hold and cause all this bad stuff. And the song has a rather ironic ending that I won't ruin for anyone who might want to listen to it. But that's what Deathless is all about. We're playing that actually at HRH, which is going to be an interesting undertaking. We're being joined at the end of that by David Jackson from Van de Graaff Generator. He's going to be playing the saxophone part, which was actually suggested live in the studio by Ian.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we are talking about a song that people aren't going to hear, but what the story of that sax solo was that we had to drop a member, and somebody couldn't show up for sessions. And so I had this whole thing planned out to do with 3 or 4 people, and somebody couldn't make it. So the person who could be there was, of course, the sax player, and Derek Ferguson was there playing the drums. And I just had this 5-second idea to throw Mitch Lawrence into the vocal booth to just kind of jam with Derek on drums. And that kind of spontaneously created one of my very favorite moments, not only on this album, but I think on any Refestramus album.
Oh, that's rather interesting. And here's one probably for the ages. It doesn't have to be around December 25th. I Ruined Christmas. And tell us about that one.
It's an interesting one. I'm not a big fan of Christmas songs. I love Christmas. I'm just not a big fan of Christmas songs. They're always just so, when you think about the experience that most people have, family gatherings in general, once again, probably even more so in sort of recent American history with polarization and all that sort of stuff, there's just, I think a lot of folks have altercations and just bad stuff happen, around the holidays. So I thought, wouldn't it be cool and appropriate to have a song that captured that aspect of holidays and written from the perspective not of somebody who feels that they are the aggrieved party, but from the perspective of someone who knows that they are probably the instigator and the cause of altercations. And there's one of my favorite lyrics. It's like I told you before, it won't happen again. It's just every Christmas they get together, and it winds up being the same sort of thing, and stuff goes sideways. So.
Merry Christmas.
It's more that tongue-in-cheek humor that we were kind of talking about.
Yes.
Definitely. Yeah. It makes one just, choke Mariah Carey if you hear again, All I Want for Christmas Is You. I was at that point. So it's like, say, get back in there, Mariah, please. No, yes. I want my Bing.
So true.
Oh, that's so true as well. And we'll also have a couple of songs we'll be playing at the end of the audio interview. We want everybody to do that. Hello, New York City and Lakeview Samurai with Refestramus. You listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios, brought to you by official sponsor of The Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Moses Missing, The Sweet Psalmist by Serena Wagner, based on the life of Dave, including theories, quiz of pains, King David Psalms, Amazon.com, keyword Sweet Psalmist Serena Wagner. We'll be back to the amazing Derek Ferguson and Ian be about Refestramus after this time out.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention The Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Hey there, Dana Alexa here, American News anchor. Hey, let me ask you something real quick. Why do you read a book? You're buying a story, a thought, a message. And a good book entertains and inspires. And that's exactly what Missing by award-winning author Mian Zia does. I have his book right here. And it's based on real events with relatable characters that hook you from start to finish. I personally love this book. It's super powerful and meaningful. You can actually get it on Amazon right now.
The Mike Wagner Show is brought to you by Serena Wagner's book, The Sweet Psalmist, now available on Amazon. This book includes 30 exquisite paintings by well-known and unknown painters and King David Psalms. The Sweet Psalmist gives us a new perspective on his life in this book. Through the Psalms he wrote, his time as a shepherd in the field is where the book starts, and it goes on to describe his complicated and turbulent relationship with King Saul as well as other events. It's a story of love, betrayal, repentance, and more. It also offers advice on approaching God and living a life that pleases him. Check out the book, The Sweet Psalmist by Serena Wagner, now available on Amazon. Keywords, Sweet Psalmist, Serena Wagner.
Hey, this is Ray Powers, and boy, are you in luck. Right place, right time. Tuned in to The Mike Wagner Show. You heard me.
We're back with Ian B. About and Derek Ferguson of Refestramus here on The Mike Wagner Show. And two songs will be playing at the end of the audio interview. We did talk about Maury's Rock Boutique, the latest coming up, along with the upcoming fest in November. We have Hell or New York City and also Lakeview Samurai. Talk about Hell in New York City, first of all.
Well, this is autobiographical, right?
However you want to describe it. It's like, tell us about it. It's your interpretation, not mine. It's your interpretation. Come on, you guys can hash it out, right?
I think when we started, Ferguson sent me a collection of demos, and I picked the ones that were most attractive to me that we would make out of the next record. And among those were Hell or New York City and Lakeview Samurai. And I think what attracted me to Hell or New York City is that it's got this kind of driving engine behind it that reminded me of a Frank Zappa tune. And specifically, it was the New York City, Zappa New York version of a song called A Pound for a Brown on the Bus.
Pound Ferguson, for a Brown, I like that.
you can pick it up from there, Ferguson.
So musically, it to me it fits into a space which is between something like XTC or The Police, that sort of early 80s new wave-ish almost beat, but the time signatures in the song change left, right, and center, which seemed a lot cooler to me when we were recording it than now that I have to play it live, because it is by far the toughest song to play. And this is the one that David Jackson from Vandergraaf Generator plays extensively on the album. So I'll say up front, I'm going to get a chance to play with one of my all-time idols live in the UK in a couple weeks, and I'm sweating it because this is going to be some tricky stuff. But lyrically, the story is pretty simple. I was recruited in my day job in the mid 2000s to work for to work for a New York company called Bear Stearns, which nowadays I think is folks know the name from what happened in the Great Recession. They were one of the first companies to implode, and it's very much classic Wall Street. It was just a very, very, very difficult environment. So I sort of wanted to capture that sense of sort of being in a pressure cooker, and the stakes that would be involved. I'm in software professionally, and creating software for traders back in the mid 2000s was no walk in the park. They would wheel a cart down the trading floor at the end of every day called the broken equipment cart. And it was all of the screens that had been punched and the phones that had been slammed down and broken.
Oh my gosh.
we should also talk about the clarinet solo.
Oh, yeah. You tell that story better than I do. I just, Mitch, his performance, yes?
Yeah, so Mitch Lawrence was a friend of mine. I'd known his brother a few years ago, and I was at a party one time, and Mitch just broke out a saxophone and started jamming, and he melted my face. And ever since then, I've kept tabs with Mitch, and we exchanged phone numbers and stuff. And when Ferguson was looking for a sax player, I introduced him to Mitch Lawrence. So we were talking about doing this New York City thing. And Ferguson had this idea to spoof the Gershwin, right? What is that?
Rhapsody in Blue.
Rhapsody in Blue, of course. I've played Rhapsody in Blue. I should know what it's called. Anyway, so we had this idea to spoof Rhapsody in Blue, and Ferguson said, we're going to have Dave Jacks play the saxophone. I said, but Ferguson, that's a clarinet on Rhapsody in Blue. And so we called Mitch, because Mitch plays in a polka band. He's like either playing metal or he's playing prog rock or he's playing polka.
Metal polka, I think that's a good one right there. So.
Well, they never converge, it's never all the same thing. But
you never know one day, never know.
Well, you kind of got a little bit of it in the song, right?
Well, I was going to say that it was kind of my idea to feature a clarinet because I couldn't think of a relevant example of a clarinet being featured in a rock song. Now, Mitch did. He brought up Breakfast in America by Supertramp, which is a song that I love, and I don't know how I ever forgot about it. But anyhow, it just struck me as a very unique idea. I thought we got to follow this unique idea. And so Mitch, the mics are set up, we're rolling. He breaks the clarinet out, and he does that run pretty much without a warm-up. And our engineer, who was a clarinet player in high school, threw his hands up and said, "I'm done. I'm out of here, man."
Yeah.
I quit.
It was really amazing to watch Mitch in the studio. He was just, it's just a phenomenal musician. You encounter folks like that from time to time, right? You're just sort of like, whoa, that is some amazing skills.
Oh my gosh, it had to be. And plus David Derek, the one that really resonated with you the most is Lakeview Samurai. And tell us more about that one.
So I live in Lakeview, Chicago, about a 15-minute walk from Wrigley Field, I would say. And there is no word of a lie. Maybe I should back in the story a little bit. I'll start this way. So it's a colorful neighborhood. It is very eclectic. There's all sorts of stuff going on in Wrigleyville at all times, to the extent that we recently had an article in Prog magazine about Refestramus, and the photo shoot for that was me dressed up like a wizard, which was our PR person's idea. And the photographer wanted to do this outdoors on one of our busiest intersections at noon on a Friday. And I thought to myself, oh, this is going to be embarrassing. And, I go out in this wizard outfit. No one notices me even remotely. It's just, there's a wizard. Very fine. They just go on with their business. Anyhow, there is a gentleman in our neighborhood who I have seen on 2 occasions, and my wife has seen him at least once. So I know it's not a hallucination, who is dressed like a samurai. I mean, just the whole kit and caboodle, the hat, 2 swords, 2 katana swords. Can't carry guns in Chicago, but you can carry 2 massive katana swords.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
This guy has to have a song written about him. He has to be immortalized in film.
Exactly. And I thought, the other thing about Lakeview is it, like many neighborhoods, is, I guess affluent neighborhoods, sort of a lot of gentrification. So, you've got the original folks who've been here when it was eclectic. You've got the new folks who are sort of, the gentrification element. So what you see in the lyrics is this juxtaposition of the status symbol items of gentrification against the traditional items that samurai would carry. So yeah, he's got the katana, but he's also got his, Lulu leggings, and he's got the helmet, but he's also got his Apple earbuds on underneath it. So that's what you hear in the lyrics.
How do you like that? And that's so amazing. And we're here with Refestramus, Derek Ferguson, EMB about on the Mike Wagner Show. And guys, if there's some other songs you want to talk about, feel free to do so.
What else? What else do we have in the offing here? What are you playing in the UK?
Yeah, so we're playing.
You don't have to say everything, but like, you mentioned Heller, New York City, but what's another one you're really excited about?
Tonight. All right. So we got to talk about T5.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
So we have a song which is called Tonight, 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 Tonight. And I'm super proud of that because I have noticed that you go on to like the ASCAP music registry where everybody who writes songs registers them on this place because it's how you get paid your royalty. There are 1 million songs called Tonight. It's 500,000 called Tonight, Tonight. Genesis had a very famous song called Tonight, Tonight, Tonight. And
later in the Michelob commercial, I remember Genesis very well. I love that song. Even going back to Peter Gabriel, I love it.
Exactly. So they had Tonight, Tonight, Tonight. I think there is a handful of artists on ASCAP who have done songs called Tonight, 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 Tonight. But we are the only band that has that extra 20% of Tonight.
And that's over a fellow Chicagoan, right? Because there's Billy Corgan with Tonight, Tonight.
You're right. Yes. We're 2.5 times more Tonight than...
And remember when we were in the studio and when I told you about the feel and I was talking about Jimmy Chamberlain and I was like, listen, when is it, Ferguson? Is it tomorrow? No. Was it yesterday? No, it's tonight. And so when you play the drums, it's got to sound like it's tonight.
Yes. And this one, it's 8 minutes. We're going to be playing that. And it's coming along nicely. It does feature at the end the heaviest, I think, Refestramus has ever been. There's a riff at the end that that'll just knock you over where you're at.
That is certainly amazing. In the meantime, where can you find all your music at, your latest releases, and what's your website, guys?
Website's refestramus.com.
You want to spell that?
Yeah. refestramus.com.
Yay! You won the spelling bee.
I won the spelling bee for the band's name, yeah. And you can, pretty much all of our music is on all streaming services now. So wherever you stream your music, you can get our stuff.
And Bandcamp.
Yes.
Right, you got that right. And we're here with Derek Ferguson and EMB about of Refestramus here on the Mike Wagner Show, and just a few more things. And before we get to that, tell us about your upcoming fest you got coming up in November.
Yeah. Friday, November 14th. That's Friday. We are performing an hour-long set at the HRH Prague 15 Festival in Great Yarmouth, England, UK. Super fun stuff. Opening for Asia and Focus and Curved Air. And we will be joined on stage for a couple tracks by David Jackson, formerly of Van der Graaf Generator, and Alex Hutchins, who is the guitarist, who has been one of the guitarists for Steven Wilson.
Yes, as featured on the Home Invasion Blu-ray.
So if you're in the area in November, we would love to see you at the concert. And it is our European concert premiere. So super, super exciting stuff.
All right. We'll certainly have everybody check that out. And also, what else do you guys have coming up to wrap up 2025 and going to 2026 and beyond? What else do you have going on?
Are we going to release a single a month, or what's going on with that?
Well, yeah. Actually, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, we're trying the modern release strategy of releasing a single every month between now and June. Then in June, we're putting out the album. So we've got new music every few weeks.
And that's on Melodic, right? Melodic Revolution Records?
Melodic Revolution Records, yes. Nick Katona's label out of Florida.
Although he's changing his name to Nick Katana after Lakeview Samurai. We talked about it.
Love it.
Yes, we do love it indeed as well, too. And who do you consider biggest influences in your careers?
You want to go first, Ferguson? You want me to take that one?
Biggest influence in careers, boy.
Music career, I would imagine.
Yeah, music career. Yeah. I was going to say before, I already named a few bands, but boy, I did Procol Harum. I just, I think they are
fantastic band.
Yeah, and just so they, like us, had that aspect of sophistication, but also commerciality, and just blended it so nicely that, folks, that you can hum their tunes, and yet there's so many different levels of nuance in them. I'm going to say Procol Harum.
Okay, and then how about you, Ian? Biggest influences?
Jethro Tull, Ian Anderson, Frank Zappa, David Lynch, Brian Wilson. So many. Procol Harum too. I was a big band. Alan Parsons Project, Steven Wilson. I could go on forever.
Oh my gosh, that had to be a lot. And what's the best advice you guys can give to anybody at this point?
Just stay calm.
Musically, if you're interested in doing music, the advice I would say is be very careful which playlists you get placed on early on, because if you mess up your algo and you get started being advertised to the wrong genres, it's a very difficult hole to dig out of. So very practical advice there.
Right, indeed, and plus, Ian, I understand you've got some promotions. You're going to be, you got your own YouTube channel. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so I talk about a lot of music, a lot of different releases. If any of your listeners are interested in surround sound, like 5.1 quadraphonic, if you're kind of talking about the old days, or currently Dolby Atmos, I feature a lot of releases, on those formats. Do a little bit of prog rock content. Talk about Frank Zappa all the time, the new releases that's coming out from the family, and just having a lot of fun.
Okay, certainly indeed as well too. And where they locate, and how can they locate you, Ian?
Well, just search by my name, Ian B. About, on YouTube. Now, there are 2 accounts with that name, which is something I need to get to the bottom of, but that's because I forgot the password on the old one.
Oops.
But the current one is up to date. So if you click on the page and you see uploads that are like in the past week, that's the current one.
All right, well, have everybody check it out. Once again, we're with the multi-talented Refestramus of on the Mike Wagner Show, Derek Ferguson and Ian Bayabout. Guys, a very big thank you time. You guys have been absolutely fantastic. Looking forward to having soon. Keep us up to date. Keep in touch. Laugh Happy Back. What's your website? How do people contact you? And where can people purchase or check out your music? Derek, how can people get a hold of you?
Derek at refestramus.com. Always works.
All right. And Ian, how do they get a hold of you?
My email is public, thanks to Derek, and it's shedsoundsmedia@gmail.com, and you can find that on the Refestramus website.
And what's the website again?
Refestramus.com, refestramus.com.
All right, well, have everybody check out right now. Guys, very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely fantastic. Looking forward to having soon. Keep us up to date. Keep in touch. Laugh Happy Back. We wish you all the best. And guys, you definitely have a great future ahead of you.
Thank you, Mike.
Thanks, Mike. It's been fun.
Hey, man, did you hear about that? Hey, buddy, shut the up.
Next Tuesday morning, I see a hotel room again. My wake-up call will sound its warning. To join a fight I'll never win. Rescue
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Hey there, Dana Alexa here, American news anchor. Hey, let me ask you something real quick. Why do you read a book? You're buying a story, a thought, a message. And a good book entertains and inspires. And that's exactly what Missing by award-winning author Mian Zia does. I have his book right here. And it's based on real events with relatable characters that hook you from start to finish. I personally love this book. It's super powerful and meaningful. You can actually get it on Amazon right now.
The Mike Wagner Show is brought to you by Serena Wagner's book, The Sweet Psalmist, now available on Amazon. This book includes 30 exquisite paintings by well-known and unknown painters and King David Psalms. The Sweet Psalmist gives us a new perspective on his life in this book. Through the Psalms he wrote, his time as a shepherd in the field is where the book starts, and it goes on to describe his complicated and turbulent relationship with King Saul as well as other events. It's a story of love, betrayal, repentance, and more. It also offers advice on approaching God and living a life that pleases him. Check out the book, The Sweet Psalmist by Serena Wagner, now available on Amazon. Keywords, Sweet Psalmist, Serena Wagner.
Thanks for listening to The Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, YouTube, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and themikewagnershow.com. Please support our program with your donations at themikewagnershow.com. Join us again next time for another great episode of The Mike Wagner Show.